Here we go. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a podcast from Darcy Donavan, the actress, author. I can't see what else you wrote on there. It's
I
hashtag.
know it's supposed to say hashtag crypto queen, so
Okay.
you can blame my assistant for that one.
Oh no, that's fine. There's only a small amount of space that we get. So
right, exactly.
We've had it's been about a year since we've done the last one. You were my number 100 on the podcast, and I was trying to get you to number 200, but I didn't have enough time to get enough guests. So you're 188 this time. But how are you? How you been? Everything good?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. We have a good time today. What is how long do I have you for?
I can't go over an hour.
Okay, all right. We'll keep it at that. Okay. So before we get started, it was I want to start with a quote. It was Pindar that said, "Become who you are by learning who you are." So for people who don't necessarily know who you are, if they've been living under a rock,
Google. Google me.
What makes Darcy Donavan Darcy Donavan?
What makes Darcy Donavan? My mother. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. And my dad. I mean, listen, I have high standards, so but at the same time, what really makes me is God. God, I'm big on faith. I'm big on God and the angels, and that's what's got me through my toughest time. So God.
That makes sense. That's I love how you always bring him up first time.
He's my man. He's my man. I want to make God cool again.
That's how we show
people out there that just they say they're godly and this and that, and they don't act like it, or they're very judgmental, and that's not my job to judge anybody. I'm very open-minded. I have friends of every different background, every different sexual preference. They're he, she, they, them, those, the, were, here, there, everywhere. So
So there's I don't know how big into meme culture you are, but there's a meme, and it's usually something stupid that says, like, I don't know, if you have ice cream on a waffle with butter and syrup and just like concoctions, it usually has to do with food. But the meme reads that, what if God stays in heaven because he too fears of what he has created? How do you think he feels about the world right now, whether it's AI, whether it's how people view love, what we're doing to each other, good or bad?
Well, listen, I can't speak for God. I can't, and that's the other thing I tell people, like people, are like, well, how do you feel about this, or, abortion or gay or this or that? And I'm like, I don't sit here and judge anybody for their circumstance. That's not my job. It's God's job. And so, I just stay a good person, and, I do the whole do unto others as you'd have, you know what I mean? I mean, that's how I feel. And, but I'm sure God's looking down, and I don't know. I mean, I know if I was in God's position, I'd be like, what the heck, man? You know what I mean? I'd be like, there's some dumbasses down there. I need to slap some people around. There's a lot of things that we're doing. It's sad because, people you hear people go, God, how can somebody do that? But see, the problem is people don't speak up. And that is what I'm trying to change with this culture, and with what I'm doing in the arts, like in entertainment and acting, music, and with this huge platform that I have with Web3. I'm trying to change all that. I'm trying to make it to where it's like, we're going to go after people that are bad, or that, are nefarious in their actions. The first downfall in the entertainment industry was Harvey Weinstein. And you got to think, I talk about this quite a bit, but I say, this man, terrorized, he blackmailed, he, some of the most powerful women in the industry, and he kept their mouth shut. And it took Ashley Judd, and God, she even said, and nobody would come through and talk about it. And there's a very powerful movie out there called She Said. I tell everybody watching, go watch it, and it will blow your mind, because it talks about what happened. But nobody wanted to come forward. And she said, the journalist tried to get her on, like on camera or somebody. They're like, nobody will talk, but there's all these horrible stories. So she came forward, and then, the domino effect, then other people started coming forward. And so, that's what I'm trying to get to, where, there's people that speak up, and I do that. I'm very straightforward. Hi, some girl, Brittany, love you too. Big love to you. So, that's the thing is, when people come together, they can make movements, they can make things happen. And we've seen that, but at the same time, you have to back up that action. So, I hear people getting called out. It's still happening in the industry. There's still a lot of, boys club stuff happening. I just talked to somebody the other day, and they're like, man, I'm having to go through this, and it's a female, and she's having to deal with it in the business in Web3. And, so it's something that, listen, I'm around men all day long. My whole family is men, great men, with high morals and high standards. My dad was a football coach. He was a pro athlete. So the thing is that I've been around males my whole life. I've in the business with males. There's a lot of great men out there. I mean, stellar men, but then there's not. There's some, and it's the same thing you could say with women. There's really great women, and there's some bad women out there too. So the thing is that we just need to hold everybody accountable, if that makes sense. Just everybody, you know what I mean? And if we do that, then, the world will be a better place. And if I was God, because if I was God, I hate to say this, but I'd be like, there needs to be a flood,
another one.
Out some of these people out here,
I guess it would help on people's commutes to work. All right, get rid of all the bad people, and then suddenly roads are clear. I guess that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there was a movie that I watched. It was God, who was it? Was it Nick Cage in it? And then I had a buddy of mine that was in it, and I watched it, and it was just like they're on a flight. I hope I didn't get it. I know it was where they were on some sort of flight, and then everybody disappeared. Like all the people that went to heaven. I don't know. It might be the wrong one. I can't think of the name, but it was like basically what they're calling the rapture. So it's just like, there was a woman, and she was screaming because her kid was gone. I can't think it. I think it was Manifest. I don't know. Manifest.
Oh, that was a show. That was a good show. Yeah.
No, it was a movie. It was a movie.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
And that's wrong. Okay. It's not Manifest. Anyway, so I have to figure out now. But I was just like, I was just going, oh, what is this? But it was just interesting. It was just interesting that I saw that, and I was like, wow, it'd be interesting, because then if you're stuck down here and you're like, well, I didn't get chosen, doggone it. I'm stuck. Then you're like, okay, well, I know I'm an asshole. Okay, so I'm stuck down here being an asshole. Now I got to change it. You know what I mean? Because think about it. Everybody in your family goes to heaven, and then you're just stuck down here, So
I'd be struggling, like, man, what did I do? Like, why didn't I get chosen?
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a really interesting. I just remembered it. Left Behind. That's what it was called. Left Behind. That's the movie. Gotcha. So it was a very eye-opening. After I was like, wow, if everybody thought about that, and you if you're like everybody watching, even you, Randy. So how do you feel if like you knew, like, okay, you had 2 more days to live and that was it, Or
am I just dying, or is the whole world dying?
Well, just like you, like if you were gonna go.
I mean, most things that when you former military, like you kind of prepare for this, and you kind of go. Right. So I have a will. I have a couple trusts set up. For one for Best Friends Animal Society, one for my OMI, where 2 of my friends are going to go, and I tell them at which specific intervals to sell which amount of things for land in Madagascar and Indonesia, for these animal sanctuaries, which you had graciously offered your help. You're very munificent that way. Obviously we'll talk further on that as crypto is back up on the rebound. XRP had that nice ruling, good capitalistic.
I know.
But speaking of Nick Cage, Happy Con Air Day. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's I can tell you like it.
Yes, it's great. Well, you mentioned Nick Cage and On a Plane. I was like, oh, Con Air. Like, this is the day. It's today. So that's really great. But how do you feel, especially because we had talked last time, you had mentioned that you wanted me for a movie you were doing, which I totally agreed to. I was like, hey, let's go.
Oh
But
yeah,
then I was
you send me your headshots. I got it
yep.
all. It's all on. It's all we got a
I
database. We put
I'm going
everybody
ahead.
in.
Ready for you. But so AI is, I know things with the writer strike, things have had a bunch of delays. I'm in actually another movie that's going to be, was supposed to be later this year, but then it obviously delayed. So I'll keep posted with that. But how do you feel about AI or people using AI to go and say, hey, write the script for us? Do you think that it can hinder or help the industry?
There's two things. The great thing about AI is it's kind of, it's with anything. It's like the internet. Okay. The internet is great for certain things, and then the internet can be also used for bad. Yeah. So we have to sit here and look at it. The thing is that, the pros of using AI are, you get it 24/7 availability. There's digital assistants. There's new inventions. AI can also be implemented into robots that we need to, save lives. So then it's like, we don't have actual people going into fires and things like that. Now, I do think it can help with, like you're saying, writing and, writing music. There's ideas that I've had. Like there was a song that I had in my mind, and I was like, okay, I want to remake this song, but I just want to use a certain beat. So I sat with the producer, and we wrote a song, but it did not come out like I had it in my mind. Now with AI, I could keep, I could keep doing it a million different ways until I finally hit it right. So there is great things about that, but the cons of AI are, that it can increase unemployment, high costs of creation. It can cause also human laziness. So, I know that John Wick, Keanu Reeves. I just saw I was watching the movie the other day. So Keanu Reeves, basically, he's very apt on anything he signs, about contracts and stuff that, they can't use his likeness. My team got together too, and, there's things that we're doing too to, protect my identity. The thing that I'm very concerned with, I'm not going to say a little, is that with the AI technology is fraud. There's, we've seen the deep fakes out there. The Tom Cruise thing looks so freaking real. Yeah. It is creeping me out. And I don't know how Tom doesn't know about this. Like, I don't know.
He's a little older. He might not just know the technology.
Yeah, but see, even if you're older, this is just me personally. I would have people always, I would be hiring younger people that are on that internet, knowing that's just me being business. So Tom, if you're watching, get your shit together. Anyway, love you, Tom. All right. So, yeah, you're awesome. But he's a very talented actor, and, but when you're at that kind of level, even, you got to do your research and development. But the one thing is that, even with me, I have people all the time, Darcy, there's a fake account, there's somebody who's trying to pretend they're you. I get that a lot. And so luckily my fans are so loyal. They, people are trying to impersonate me all the time. So these impersonators that come, on the web or, with everything, they're trying, obviously to do bad things. And that really pisses me off. So I don't like that. I don't like the fact that, that can be used for bad. So, that's the one thing that, we really have to, be careful about.
Agreed. Which AIs have you used? Have you tried ChatGPT? Just from being like a successful author, actress. Yes. Okay, so you have used it.
Yes.
Does it scare you?
Does it scare me?
Yeah.
Again, like what I said, there's good and bad.
Yeah.
So, the way that we're advancing as humans, it's very like, wow, we're going at such a rapid rate. And then if you ever, I mean, look at what happened with what is it? The Atlantis.
Yeah.
You know, the technology outdid what they were doing, apparently. And, you know, you got to sit here and think of what all happened with that. Now, I'm just concerned with, there's a lot of things that are great about it, you know, but, you know, again, like with the whole Atlanta story, you know, the technology surpassed humanity. And that's where you got to get that's where I get a little worried about. Does that make sense? So,
yeah.
You know, and things are different now. You know, and I hate to say this, but it's like easier for stalkers now. It's easier to stalk somebody. It's easier to, you know, I mean, it is easier for hackers to get into things. I mean, my brother, you know, he works in the medical field, and he has basically like, he runs a whole wing, like, you know, with his company. They do for cancer and everything, research and development and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, there were hackers that basically held the hospital under hostage for the information. And there's people dying. Wow. Yeah, there's people dying, and these hackers had information and wouldn't let, you know, these patients needed their medicines, or they needed, you know, their insurance to go through. So it's like, it literally stalled them. So they wanted millions of dollars, and, you know, they had to cough it up. And this, you know, the FBI got involved and all this, but my brother's telling me all this stuff, and I was like, this is horrible. And honestly, what, you know, eventually, like, I want to give hackers jobs. I want to give them jobs. That's what I want to do. I want them to, I want them to come work for me. And I wanted to, you know, it's like, if you can get the bad guys to be good and fight the bad guys, that's what you want. You know, there's actually, I'm gonna have to ask one of my, there's a guy that is on the YouTube, and that's what he does. But it's like Catch Me If You Can. That's based on a true story. So, I mean, he was forging checks. He was even saying he was a doctor, and he didn't even have the credentials. Can you imagine getting in a hospital? He was forging all the documents. And then, you know, the FBI was smart, and they're like, hey, come work for us. Let's do this together. Let's build something, you know, let's pay him, and then let's go after the other people. And so, you know, that's kind of the empire that I'm trying to set up. I'm trying to kind of make it the Robin Hood of Web3. I'm trying to, you know, do things right. And I'm even, because of what I'm doing in Web3, I'm going to be able to change the entertainment industry and hold people accountable for bad actions, because I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it. You know, I'm a good Southern girl. I was raised, you know, with morals and stuff. Now, listen, have I done some stupid stuff? Yes. You know, I've done some stupid, I believed in some friends, listened to, you know, an ex-boyfriend, you know, doing stupid stuff. But I've always held, you know, a high standard, and people that do know me that know that I'm always, you know, go above and beyond, you know, to try to help people, to try to do things. And I mean, listen, I've had people screw me over that's worked for me, that's done things, and they still contact me. They'll still try to email me, say, hey, I'm so sorry. But, you know, and I wish them well, but I don't want to work with them anymore. I don't want them to be part of my team. You know, I understand, but sometimes people need to grow up, and and here's the deal. If you can't have a high standard and have morals about yourself, then you might have a great woman, a great man, and you screw that up, and that's it. You'll never find somebody else that's that great again. You know, and trust me, I know there's some men out there right now that are pining over me, and I'm like, well, you messed up, buddy. Out of here. You know? So, you know, everybody's got to have a high standard and a boundary. And, you know, I don't judge anybody. I'm friends with, I mean, shoot, people see me sit down right next to a homeless person and talk to them. And then I'm talking to billionaires, you know. I mean, the thing is I'm just one of those people. I would say I have that Dolly Parton mentality. I honestly think Dolly Parton should run for president, and I'll be Dolly. Yeah, I'll be the VP, man. We'll have a blast. Are you kidding?
I would love to get her on the podcast too. You guys would be great together.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be no war. I'd be like, come on, man, you don't want to have a war. Let's just have a party, man. Let's just have a party. Why do you want to fight? I mean, that's the thing, It's so I don't know. I'm just one of those people that, listen, we all have our bad days. Okay. Especially, I don't know, Randy, are you dealing with sinuses? Because my allergies are horrid. Are you dealing with anything?
I was born very lucky. I typically don't get allergies.
Oh my God, you're like my business manager. That man doesn't get sick with nothing. I'm telling you, nothing. I mean, I'm like, dude, I wouldn't eat that. I'll be fine. And he's got like a cast iron stomach. And everybody else around me is like, oh my God, my nose. Well, anyway, I don't know if anybody's watching and you got allergies. You're going to have your bad days. I mean, see, Philip, he's like, yeah. I had, my assistant went in and she went and got me some. I said, hey, can you stop before you come into the office? And we picked me up some sinus medication, sinus stuff over the counter. So she goes, okay. So she starts talking to the lady that was there, like over the counter. And she said, man, this is like the millionth thing that we sold today. She goes, everybody's got sinus problems. She goes, I do too. I mean, we're in LA and the air pollution has been horrible. She even said she thinks this is the worst season ever. So, the thing is, you wake up and you have your days where, you got a headache, you don't feel good. Like yesterday, I felt like an ass sandwich. It was terrible. I felt horrible. And then today I felt great. But, you're going to have those days. And so somebody might catch you, not doing so great, and you have to do self-care. But, when you're in the public eye, you have to kind of train yourself. I mean, there's times where like, I was a keynote speaker in Vegas at a Web3 convention, and there was a lot of other celebrities and a lot of people that were there. And, I had to be on for the whole day for fans. There's people flying in just to meet me and see me. So I had to be on, and I got a phone call right around 6 a.m. that my grandfather passed away.
Ooh.
And I had to go and be on stage, and I let everybody know. I said, listen, I even told the crowd, I said, just so you all know, I said, my grandfather passed away this morning. I got the phone call, and then people were like, came up to me and they go, I can't believe you're here. I can't believe you have a great attitude. But the thing is it's like, I'm there for business. I'm there to be professional. And then it's like, I compartmentalize, and then I'm going to do my self-care. After that, I cried after the, convention. I cried. I ate some good fattening food. I watched a funny movie, and I did my self-care. And, I called my family up, see how they were doing. But that's my whole point, is that, I had to keep it together. And that's the thing is, there's a lot of women out there that have a lot of problems, and they may be single mothers and they're dealing with things. And, I'm there to show the alpha. I'm there to show, listen, we all go through, we all have those bad days. Nobody's perfect. No. I mean, I could write a book, Randy. I could really write a tell-all book. I know, but I've met so many, it's just, a lot of A-listers, a lot of producers, directors, they just tell me, bleh. They just, I guess I'm just, but listen, I don't go running my mouth. Sometimes, a lot of times I just forget about it. I'm like, okay, well, that's terrible. Sorry to hear that. A lot of people in the business are, they've got a lot of problems, and they don't let the public know. The public doesn't know what's going on. So.
Yeah, you do tend to be private about a bunch of things, like your romantic life.
I'm pretty private about that, but the only thing is because it's not my place, when I'm with somebody, it's not my place to be like, oh, I'm with so-and-so, this and that. Plus, I mean, I'll be honest, I was in a long-term relationship. Like, I'm kind of a type of person, I don't date around. It's like I'll date, and then I've always found somebody, and then I'm with them for a very long time. But, I have to be with somebody that understands the business I'm in. They don't get jealous. They know, hey, there's flirting. There's going to you may kiss somebody on set because you have to in front of a camera, and they're fine with that. But the thing is that, my baby are my businesses. I have a lot of people look up to me. I have a lot of women that work for me. I have a lot of men that work for me. I'm kind of have to be the mama D to everybody. I have a lot of fans. You know, this is my career, and I take it very serious. And so, you know, it's like there's a time and a place for, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, no, I get it. It's
my
why a lot of,
romance life has nothing, and it's really boring. It really is. You know, when
yeah.
and when I get like guys saying, "Oh, Darcy, I love you. Would you marry?" I'm like, "Oh, thank you. I love it. You just made my day. Oh my God, I woke up this morning. I look like crap. Thank you." You know. So
No, I get it. There's a lot of times, a lot of my friends, the military, they'll really only try to date other military because hey, they're the only ones that understand. We have to be away from home for 7 months at a time, and we have to. Hey, we have this vacation, I know, but I just got a short notice appointment. I have to do this, and we can't go. And sorry about Christmas after work. So I get it. I understand.
well, and I mean, you know, my thing is that you know, it's just like Bon Jovi. Okay, women were in love with Bon Jovi as a kid. I mean, yeah, they were crazy about Bon Jovi, the band, blah, blah, blah. I mean, nobody ever knew. I think it was like 20 years later that he was married during that whole time. You know, he's flirting with girls. He's on stage. It's, you know, it's like fans are part of the lot, are part. You also marry your fans. So it's like, you know, whoever's with that person has to understand that, you know, that's just part of the territory. And I give my fans a lot of attention. I mean, I spoil them. I love them. You know, I send them birthday gifts. They send me stuff. I mean, it's like, I just want to basically, you know, I want to hold people accountable for being just good people, you know, being a good person. But it's like, I don't really care about people's, like, I don't care what you do. I don't care, you know, if you got a harem of girls, as long as it's not hurting anybody and you got a high standard, you know, you're an adult. Okay. You know, that's the thing.
I love you so much.
Thank you, Rick. Well, I mean, it's just like, who cares? As long as they're being good. It's like, you know, now I do feel like, you know, if you're married, that's a different story. I do feel, but you know, hey, listen, there's open marriages in Hollywood. And you know, that's the thing. If that's the case and the other person okay, then that's great. You know, but you know, I'm very boring. So, you know, my love, I'll say, which not sounded weird, but I mean, my loves are my animals. I have 6 dogs. I absolutely.
Oh yeah, how's what was his name? Billions, the little long.
Oh yeah, Billions. Oh,
yeah.
He's doing good. Oh my God, he is. My mother's like keeps telling me, she goes, he need to have his own channel.
Yeah, how is it? Because you just got him like last year, so he's what, like 18 months old now?
Yes, and yeah, I'll bring him in here. He actually, the funny thing is okay. Do we want to talk about something godly? Like, do we want to talk about
whatever you want?
Well, no, I mean, does everybody want to? I want to hear from your fans on here too. Like, do you guys?
They're just excited to see you on here. They just much love Darcy. Good to see you on your channel. Channel. Go Chavez.
Okay, well, do you guys want to hear of? I mean, I'm talking about an undeniable like miracle, like a miracle.
Yeah, I love those.
Okay. Okay, so this is true story. Going to blow everybody's mind. So before I bring Billions in here, I'm going to just tell you a story. So I love, like, okay, listen, I'm not a Paris Hilton, like, you know, I got to have a little dog, but I do love having a little dog because, you know, I go everywhere. So basically I ended up going to, I had 2 dogs that passed away from old age. And they kind of grew up together. So when one died, the other passed away. You know, it's kind of like when you hear like couple. They live together. Yeah. So within months, they both passed away. I was devastated. My mom came up and she said, I said, Mom, I was looking through and I said, look, they've got this dog here at the shelter. So the dog was so cute. And when we got there, he bit me. Mom, help him. She goes, isn't it cute? And I'm like, you're gonna love me. I'm gonna make you love me, dog. You know, so he kind of had a gimpy little leg. He would, you know, he was just the cutest thing, but he was kind of like a little old man, but he was just mean but he was mean when I first met him. But then afterwards, I mean, it was just like I fell in love with this dog. And we ended up going in with one to get one, and I ended up leaving with three.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, but you know, his name was Gizmo, and Gizmo would just come around me, and I mean, just give me. He was just the cutest thing ever. I ended up just like, I mean, he would sit next to me when I was sad. He was there, and then like if somebody made me mad, like you know how your parents sometimes or somebody around you can piss you off. He would know, and he'd go, you know. And I was like, "You go, honey, you go." Like I didn't have to say anything. He would just have my back. That's my big thing is loyalty. So he would have my back, and he would be like, "Get away from my mommy! You know, you're pissing my mommy off." So I just, you know, when he died, he got very sick, and it was weird because I have another Chihuahua, like a standard Chihuahua named Pixie. And I thought Pixie and him kind of, you know, they were like a couple. So I thought she was going to go because she was a lot older. He ended up something happened. He started his heart. Something was wrong with his heart. And then one day he just started deteriorating. And I mean, it just came out of nowhere. It flipped me out. I was so upset. I'll just say this, y'all. I could not. It's like my heart broke, and my mother noticed that. She noticed that. You know, she was talking to my best friend, and she's like, "Something's wrong with Darcy. Darcy's not the same." You know, and she goes, "I know it's because Gizmo died. When he died, it's just something. I mean, and I have all these other dogs, but it was just something was gone." You know, him and I he would come in every night. We'd watch movies together. And I know that sounds weird. We had our own little thing.
Cool.
I took him, the thing okay, so took him in. The crazy thing that happened is, so I'm crying. I'm with my best friends. I'm in there just bawling. I'm holding him. His little body goes, they, put him to sleep so he wouldn't. I believe in not letting a dog suffer. So he was suffering. So they came in and I held him. They put him to sleep. And then it was weird. There was a door that was open. Now it was very, very heavy. I just prayed, and then it was just like the door just shut. Like something came in here, got his spirit, and then just walked out of the room. And I have witnesses that have seen this. There was just no way it would have happened. The door was just way too heavy.
Like, do you see him in the wall? Like, did you?
No, it's just a feeling I got, but it was just weird. It's like you could just feel like his presence, like his spirit was gone, but something took him, and then it shut the door. Like it shut the door to the vet's office, the doctor's office. So that was really crazy. So I get home. Months go by. I ended up getting one dog at the shelter. Fell in love with her, Dixie, but they still didn't fill the void. So then months go by. And I'm praying to God. I'm like, God, I can't get over this. So I get another dog. And I save that dog at the shelter. Still didn't fill the void. So then I pray again. Several months later, I see a dog. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this dog. Still didn't fill the void. So now I'm 3 dogs in. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so then one day I was scrolling through Instagram. And there's this company called Sweetie Pies. And she had, these dogs that, obviously they have them, they sell them and all this stuff. But I just always thought the dogs were so cute. Well, I was looking just randomly, it popped up on my feed, and I see this dog that looked just like my Gizmo. Now, this is what Gizmo looks like. I had just so you all know, a fan knows how much I love and gave this to me for my birthday. And that's how much I love Gizmo.
If you would have hid the name, I would have thought that would have been like a portrait of Billions.
Wait, you're not supposed to give it away, Randy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't listen to Randy. So here's the deal. So here you go. That's Gizmo, right? So I'm sitting here praying. Now I was like, okay, these dogs are expensive. I'm like, I'm always big on getting it. So I'm praying and praying. Hold on. I need to that again. So then I'm like sitting here going, okay, what am I going to do? Like what, let me just look up that. So I look up the dog. Now my business manager's name, who I've been in business with forever, who's like my right-hand man. He's like a brother from another, love him to death. He basically his name is Dylan. I look at the dog's name is Dylan. And I was like, that's weird. That's odd. I'm like, looks like Gizmos. And it's like, you know, because he's one of my best friends. So I was just like, that's odd. I look at, I pull it up and I'm like, I'm going to look at him further. So I go up to on the site, look at him. His birthday is the same friggin' day as mine. I kid you not, November 20th. I almost pooped a pickle. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. All right. And I was like, I got to have the dog. I got to get him. So I got the dog. She came over, the lady came over to my house. She was like, I told her the story. She was like, oh my God, that's crazy. She said, it's so funny. It's so great that you called me when you did. Like, I felt an urgency to do it. She goes, somebody else was going to drive in, 3 or 4 hours, come and get him. So I want you all to see, and this is where I say this is a miracle. The fact that it was named after one of my best friends. The fact that it when you see Billions, you'll understand what I'm saying. His birthday was born on the same day. Again, I'm going to show you the photo. So this was Gizmo, the light of my life. Okay. I told God, I said, I can't go on. So this is Billions.
Oh, reincarnate. So
exactly.
Billions was.
He just had a haircut, but I mean, when his hair grows, he just had a summer cut. But with his hair, tell me, folks, does that not freak y'all out?
Billions, you haven't aged a day. So Billions was born in 2021.
Yes. So he was born. He's like, he's going to be, what is it? On our birthday, he's going to be 2 this year.
Okay. So 2021. Okay. Never mind. I was going to, So Billions, I don't know if you're familiar with the cycle of the Chinese zodiac. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
All right. So, without giving away your age, you were born in the year of the ox, and so was Billions. Every 12 years is a thing. So I might have given it away. You were born in the duty. That's really interesting. He's born on the same on your birthday and in the same year that you were. Because
to me that's a miracle.
Yeah, that's really wild.
Isn't that wild? I mean, and I feel like God was like, okay, she can't do what she needs to do. She needs,
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that it was always, I should bring Dixie in here. So the thing is that he has, well, just don't worry about it. So the funny thing is the dog that I got before I even saw it, her name's Dixie, right? That's her name. That when I went to the shelter, her name is actually Dixie. Now Pixie was Gizmo's mate, and they look just alike. I swear, it looks like Pixie had Dixie. Now, is that not crazy? And I mean, they both are the light of my life. Like, I love Pixie. When I had a pit bull die from old age. Yes,
my favorite breed.
Yeah, he had a heat stroke. He died of a heart attack, and so when he passed away, I mean, I was crying, and then Pixie came in and put her hand on my hand, and then she was just like, "Mommy, I understand," and she really helped me. But it's just the thing is that if people don't believe in that there is a God and miracles, listen. I mean, I don't judge people, but I know that there is a God and he is listening. And, this is living proof, aren't you? You're the light of Mommy's life.
He's so cute.
He is the fun, and he does some of the funniest stuff. And I mean, I just love him. He does a lot of stuff like Gizmo does. Like, there's little things that he does that are just like Gizmo, and he's falling asleep, bitch.
So I see. So we've mentioned Web3 a couple of times, and well, first before I get into that, I'll say this: that's the only thing that makes me cry on TikTok is when I see like these big burly dudes. Their family gets them like a dog. Yeah, because
I love it. I think it's the cutest thing.
Every time. I always try to watch it to see if like I'm tough enough. I don't need to cry, and then like halfway through it, I was like, oh no.
The thing is it's good. I think it's I mean, I feel bad because I feel like a lot of men, they're like, hey, I can't cry. I think it's good for a man to cry. You need to. You can't hold in those emotions. Now, do I want a guy that's like, he's got like a man period every 5 days? No, I don't want that. I don't even, girls that are, or women that are very like too emotional drive me up the wall too. And listen, women have their days to be hormonal. And I get that. And no, there's no worries about that. But at the same time, it's like, in business, you can't be emotional, because if you are, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
And then who's going to, I mean, do you really want to go into battle? I mean, you're in the military, right?
Well, I was. I mean, I'm not anymore. I'm very, very out of shape now. I can get in shape very easily.
But my point is, would you want to be around, like, would you want to have like a sergeant or whoever going into battle? And basically, they're like, I don't know if we're going to do good. You're like, what? I'm supposed to follow you. And
you want those killers. You want those like racists from like, wherever they're like, let's kill them all. And I was like, yeah, let's kill them all. That's what you want. Normally before you go in, like clear a building, go into a building, and let's say you have a couple going in the door, you have one on the red side, one on the right side, and you have somebody going into like the window. When you break the window, you're supposed to wait, just in case there's like an explosion. But every now and then, at least in every platoon of guys, there's always a dude that just jumps through the window, doesn't wait for an explosion, and that's the dude you want on your team, because they're gonna get you out of there.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I'm not scared of nothing, even if I. Even if I walk out with one leg. Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel like I've through all of my battles, I've got like a lot of us have what I call invisible scars, and these invisible scars make you who you are, and the thing is, you can either use those invisible scars for bad or for good, or it can be something that makes you better or makes you worse. There's the story of, the alcoholic abusive father who basically, tortured and beat two of his children, and he was an alcoholic. And then he had two sons, one which was a billionaire, ended up becoming a multimillionaire billionaire and became very successful. And then you had the other one that became abusive like the father and an alcoholic. And when they were asked, how did that happen? The one son was like, well, I had my father, and that's why I'm an alcoholic, and it's his fault, and that's the reason why I'm at. And the other one says, well, I didn't want to be like my father. I wanted nothing to do with him, and that's the reason why, I'm so successful. So I feel like there's a way to look at things, because, my backstory with what I've gone through, there was a lot of horrible things that have happened to me. And people don't know that. They don't. I mean, there's people that do know it. They know my backstory. They know, like, hey, that was like, I would have been in drugs. I would have committed suicide. I can't believe you've gone through that. But the thing is that, I used to go, why, man? Why? I'm a good person. Why is this happening? But now I know it's made me tough as nails, man. I mean, God forbid you get, hey, you have me as your sergeant. You'd be like, don't mess with Darcy, man. I'm terrified of that chick.
So obviously I don't, like we said, we both don't want war, but I would, if we were to, I think, well, I won't get too political with this. But if we were to go to war, I would have no problem going to war with you. Like, okay, let's do this. Let's get this bread.
Oh, yeah. See, and that's what you want in life. What you want is a partner that, because luckily the people that, I've had, long-term relationships with, they've had, I call it like, they're back to back with you if you're in a battle of whatever, business, personal, family issue, whatever, you want that person to have your back. You want to be able to not have to look over your shoulder all the time. And if you have to do that with friends, family, business associates, then get them out. You want to be able to go to, the people that I have on my team are very loyal. But I mean, newcomers coming in, they are vetted very, very fiercely. Like, listen, there's times where I've put $100 bills places, and I'm like, I'm going to see if that person gives it back to me. I'm going to see if they say, hey, I found this. Because to me, trust is everything. I say this in every single interview, when I'm on a Twitter space, even, when I'm talking, doing keynote speaker, events, I sit here and say, I can teach anybody anything, and I can, but I can't teach them trust, loyalty, and, just to be a good person, or integrity. I can't teach somebody that. I have people on my team, they first started with me, and I mean, it was like deer in the headlights. They had no qualms. Like, they didn't know what the heck they were doing. And now people are, look at them, they're like, oh my God, you're like a rock star. And I'm like, she went to the school of Darcy Donavan Foundation. And,
There's so I mean, we could talk. I feel like we could have a 8-hour podcast and not run out of things to talk about. I know you don't have.
I still have. We can still go over a little bit. Good thing.
Okay, good.
I've added it a little bit, so we're good.
So there's in my, I've had multiple businesses before, all successful before I retired, before I went, into YouTube and into Web3, and I definitely want to get into Web3 at the end of this. But what I find now is that there are certain people that they go full shark mode, where like back in the high risk lending business, okay, what's the better? You have this sob story from somebody that, hey, I need money and I have this business and I do that and I'll leverage this business, which you wouldn't be able to, get 2 nickels for, but they do have a business, and it's like, but I really want to leverage this business so I can buy, my kids Christmas presents. And then it's like, okay, well, that's not a good ROI because you're not investing in the business and you're not doing, X, Y, and Z. So it's like, okay, that's a horrible business decision. I won't give you money. But then you do feel bad, and then it's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll cash out or something.
I don't feel bad.
I also find that there's people
don't feel bad, Randy. Don't feel bad.
I get it. Bad. Clearly not a successful business person.
Well, let me ask something, Randy. Okay, just on a side note, a sidebar here. So let me ask you: did this person ever help you out with when you needed it?
No. 98% of the people that applied for loans there's a reason they didn't go for like bank money. There's a reason they needed high risk investing,
right?
Where we could charge like credit cards 24.99%. That's the max you can go. I think after that's like usury. But I found that when you focus on loyalty and you pick sides, which maybe is not the best thing to do, but I like the way it feels when you pick a side. And I feel like,
now, can you explain that in depth? Then, what do you mean exactly when you say pick a side? I'm curious because I
sure.
Go in a little depth.
So when it's the side of, let's say there's 2 businesses going for the same contract, and there's somebody that let's say, all right, perfect example. There was two contractors that I had known. One I had done business with for 3 years. One I hadn't. I did one loan for him, 6 months prior. I was looking for another loan, and it was fine. I was almost done paying the first one, but that sense of loyalty, which I feel like now is kind of outmoded. I feel like a lot of people, especially like workers, like, hey, every 2 years I'm going to switch jobs. And it's like, okay, why am I going to spend, $50,000 training you if you're going to just switch jobs in 2 years?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think sense of loyalty is being outmoded right now? Do you think that type of thing is that going to be more hurtful to people coming up in the world if they're 19 and they're just getting their first job? Is that sense of loyalty going to be hurtful to them? Or if they get lucky, they could have someone like me or you as a mentor, and obviously they'll pave the way.
That's very lucky. I mean, but the thing is that, I tell people the greatest thing you could do is intern. And that's what a lot of people have done in the business. I mean, my business manager, he interned at for a very famous A-list actor when he was young, and he worked at his production company. And then now he's up the ranks, and now he's representing A-listers, producers, directors. He represents me. He works with Sony, Paramount, PureFlix, a lot of big name companies. So the bottom line is that, it's the same thing with me, but when I got out of high school, I immediately went into owning a business. And the thing is that, I owned a modeling and talent agency because of all the people that I've met. And then the way I saw that the talent agency I was working with, the way they were running things, I was like, they're running it like crap. And to me, customer service and that going the extra mile, people are lazy now. And I hate to say that, but I'm seeing a lot of it as, I just pass the buck, or, I don't want to do that. And, I knew what I wanted to do as a kid. Like, I knew the entertainment industry. I was saying it when I was 8, 9. Like, there was no like, I want to do that. Now listen, I mean, I did want to be a vet. There was, and I want to be a doctor and all that stuff, but I still want to do the entertainment industry. So it's like that was like, I'll be a vet during the day and an entertainer at night. I don't know. But
my friend Nina's doing that exact same thing. Sorry, keep going.
Well, but I mean, the thing is that I always tell people, it's like, it's good to go for your dreams. Like, let's say you want to be, some people want to be an artist, but there's not that much money sometimes into when you're starting out as an artist. So, if you stick to, okay, I want to be a painter, I want to do all this massive stuff, but at the same time, you got to build your name up. You got to build a website. You got to get get the stuff on, let people see it on social media sites. Then at the same time, then you go, okay, now let me try to do a gallery opening. Let me get my, so there's steps for everything. But at the same time, you got to bring that money in. You got to pay your house note. You got to pay. That's what you got to, and, I saw the other day, somebody said, oh, you can't have a plan B when you're an actor. I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it because I'm a big fan of it. I don't know if it was Denzel Washington said it, but I was like, yeah, you do. I'm sorry. It's like, you do. I mean, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, and I tell women this too, it's easier for a man to get a job. It's easier for a man to, travel the country by himself. Oh. Women, I tell women, don't go by yourself across the country. It's not safe. There's things, I mean, everywhere I go, I have to have somebody with me, because I've had instances where I literally had somebody reach in, they recognize me and try to pull me out of my own car. So, yeah. So it's like, but I've also had it to where, when I was younger, I've had things happen. So I tell people, it's like, there's certain things that you can and you cannot do. But then as a woman, I always say, women have a plan B. Have that extra savings money. God forbid you come home and you find your man's with your best friend or your sister or a man or whatever. You don't know. And then you're like, I'm not going to put up with this. Okay, well, you got at least got your cushion. You got a plan B if it doesn't happen. That's the way I've always been in every relationship I had. I'm like, if we're going to buy something, the house is in my name. If you mess up, because I know my morals, I'm a good person. Even if you cheated or something happened, I know I'd be like, okay, listen, I'm not going to put you out on your own. I'm not going to mess you over. We'll try to get you a play. You know what I mean? I just know the type of person I am. I would put up with it. But, well, I mean, listen, most of the guys that I've been in a relationship with, I'm friends with. Like,
same.
I don't harbor any feelings. Now, there's a few that I would like to hold their feet to the fire, because they kind of screwed me over. Yeah. But, for the younger people, when you find someone loyal, be loyal to them, and then God will take care of the rest if they're not loyal to you. That's how I feel. But I'm just very, very big on, finding just as long as you're a good person. If somebody's a bad person, it will come back to them. If they cheat on you, if they do bad stuff, it will come back. It just, that's what I feel like. That's where you get the karma.
Yes, that's true.
It always happens, and some people are like, oh, so like, look at Harvey Weinstein, man. Look at him. Mm-hmm. Look at Bill Cosby. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, they had it for a while, and now it's like their name, their reputation, I mean, is tarnished. Everything they've ever worked for. I mean, it's, and then they could have been heroes, like when I found out everything with Bill Cosby, man, I was like gutted because I thought, I watched the Huxtables. I thought he was the bomb. He kind of reminded me of my granddaddy. So I was just like, he was just the bomb, and on the show. But you kind of feel like, hey, him. And that's the thing. People don't realize a lot of these actors and stuff, they're not like their characters, in real life.
I agree. And like I said, we can talk about this all day. I do want to do a lightning round before we end, because I know you have to go. I know there's a bunch of stuff you have to do.
And hey, Randy, I got to tell you, you are such a sweetheart, and you're always so great to talk to. I just love it when we have our time to talk, because you're just you're just such a breath of fresh air. So you're one of my favorites. You're one of my top 5 out of all these.
All right, I got to work to be the top 1. Okay. So there's I do want to respect your time. But I mean, by all means, like, I would keep you here for hours if you let me. But we'll do. So I know last time you had spoken or we had talked, you had mentioned you did have a couple of EV collectibles. Mr. MC1 saying is he has, I think, hundreds of those MC1s, meaning like the first Marvel Comics #1 that are on VV. I know you had a couple of Steve Rogers, you had a couple of other ones. With Tom Russ were saying
Captain America.
Yeah. So what's your favorite collectible on there? And then which NFT in general do you?
I like my Captain America one.
Yeah, first person.
I haven't got to collect any others, but yeah.
What's the outside, whether in VV or outside of VV, what's an NFT that you really, really want? Do you want like a Bored Ape? You want a Mooncat? Which one?
My NFT collection.
Okay, that makes sense. Where can people go and find your NFT collection?
They can go on stardogs.com. I mean, STAR. So it's dogs, like DAWG.
VGS, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what's up, dog? Like, Randy always said, I guess, Randy Jackson. But it's just so everybody knows, it's not out yet. But you can go on, the website and kind of check everything out. We do have our private pre-sale, that we have, and we're very, very excited. I mean, our community and our whitelist is huge already. Like, so I'm very, very excited.
Is it still possible to get one at the pre-sale?
Oh yeah. Okay, I mean, we haven't put it out there yet, but it's like, people are filling up our whitelists, and I'm very excited, because this is going to change the entertainment industry as we know it. I mean, it is the golden ticket to Hollywood, to be in the entertainment industry. We have it set up to where, holders of a Star Dogs will basically be able to get residuals off every film that we put out. Also get speaking roles, which we talked about. They can have their dog, you can hold a superstar, and they're all randomized. So anybody watching can get one. We've got it to where you can win, $500 of ETH. You could get, your dog be in one of the movies. So
is my dog Dashi in that NFT collection? Not yet. Maybe one day.
Not yet, but I mean, I tell you, I've got 30 years of movies that are already down the pipeline. We have 30 years of dogs that we already have. So every dog you can imagine. I mean, like we have, for this collection, I'm dedicated to my dog Max, because he's he was the reason why I got it. But we've got full body 3D. I mean, 7 breeds. Nobody's done this, and they are accessible in the metaverse already. So we are the only, because I am a co-owner of a metaverse. So
yes, of course. Yeah, tell us about that. Keep.
Okay, well, the thing is with the right now, you can basically Income Island is what I'm a co-owner of. So you basically will be able to take your Star Dog and walk around the metaverse, converse with your family, whatever. I mean, we are now like fully equipped. We've got everything done. Like, the utilities is insane. And every day we're collaborating with other like NFT communities. It's insane. I mean, we've got famous, you get one Star Dog, you can get a photo shoot with a famous celebrity photographer who's done like, Lady Gaga and, all these kind of people. So it's insane. It's insane. I mean, his name's Christopher Lee, and if you collect 4 out of the 5 his NFTs, then they're going to get Star Dogs, and they'll get a pass to get a photo shoot with him. David Christopher Lee is very talented. If you see his work, oh my God. I mean, he's done everybody in the business. So, there are more utilities that our team is revealing in the future, but I mean, you're talking, roles in the movie. You could follow our A-list director around. I mean, and I'm not talking about like some, little movies and stuff. I mean, but I'm talking about, you know.
So let's leave like a couple minutes to talk off camera.
Sure.
We have so there's so it's been since we've talked last time. There's been a lot of amazing things that's happened for me, but also
good
for you as well. So Pavle Ponstadamarovich, he just co-wrote a book called Stealing Manhattan, and then that's one of the movies that I'll be in. That was supposed to be later this year, but that'll be next year. He told me to ask you about Steve Stanulis, and see if you want to do a huge project together. Again, we'll talk off camera about that, but that'll there's definitely things one hand can wash the other.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I am really big in Web3. Like it's funny because Web3 is actually a lot nicer than the entertainment industry with film and television. I mean, I've gotten people roles, I've hooked them with producers, I've gotten directors stuff, and it's like nothing, And now in Web3, everybody, the collaborations that I'm matching people up, and then people are like, "Hey, Darcy, I want to introduce you to so and so." It's so sweet, it's so great, and the collaborations that I have coming down the pipeline. I mean, there's even a company that does special, like the technology is not even out there. And Brad Pitt's company, his production company, came to them and they're like, "I don't really want to work with Brad Pitt. I want to work with you, Darcy." And I'm like, "Okay, that's awesome." Listen, and I love Brad Pitt. There's nothing on him. And I was like, well, I said, "Well, why don't you work with Brad?" He goes, "Well, I like Brad." And I was like, "But he doesn't understand anything about Web3. You do, Darcy." And I was like, "Okay, let's work together." So, that's a great thing. I mean, I want to make it to where it's kind of, the public has a say in movies and has, we're going to be having it to where the great thing is, it's like, if we have the cast, we're filming, like, let's see, where are you at right now, Randy? What's your?
I'm in New York still, but I will 100% wherever you need me to be.
Well, an actor role, that's going to be different. We'll fly you in, but for, like, let's say, you're a holder, you're an investor. Okay. Like you're a holder in a Star Dogs. So then basically, so then you basically, we have, let's say we're filming in New York on location. Okay. Or in South Carolina, wherever. So we're filming, and then we would say, "Hey, this is for all our Star Dogs holders. We want to let you know we're going to be having a luncheon and you're invited. So, we'll send it out." The great thing is that, our Star Dogs has partnerships with all kinds of different NFT communities, but, the Star Dogs NFT into the Income Island, it's like, it's a hyper realistic metaverse. It's nobody else is doing this. We are the only one pioneering this. So, this is going to be another distribution for platforms for movie theaters, because I'll tell you, I went to London, and there were movies out there that are so huge here, and they had no idea. So the thing is that this is going to be so great that we're going to be able to reach other countries. I mean, so easily, and be huge. And we're going to be putting the NFT avatars into movie theaters and other metaverses as well. So we are collaborating with numerous people, numerous NFT projects. I mean, and it's great, because that's what we want. We don't want, you can't have, fighting amongst ourselves. That's the thing. It should, everybody, I mean, listen, everybody should be,
help each other to grow the Web3 space.
Exactly. It's a community, I mean, it's the same thing that's what's happening right now with the huge strike. I mean, what's happening right now with what the writers are now, the actors are involved. And so now that everybody's come together, there's been nothing like this since the 1960s. The only time that actors and writers got together to, like, prove, fight.
Didn't it happen like 06 or 07?
No, it was like 1960.
I remember there was a writer's strike. I guess it wasn't.
But the actors.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's the thing that you got to look at, because this is huge, and I'm looking at it like we're basically, I feel like the energy is shifting, and that people that are greedy, people that have been treating people bad, it's all coming back, baby. It's all coming back. It's
like that Celine Dion song. It's all coming back. Sorry.
I
love this song. Well, so again, I have to introduce you to the CEO of Evie. Come to New York Comic Con, October 12th to the 15th, if you can. I have to introduce the CEO of Evie, David Yu. He's been on the podcast a bunch of times. I'll send you a link. Dan Crothers is the COO, and there's a bunch of extraordinarily influential people that are also in the community that you definitely should meet. There are, again, with Pablo was saying, Steve Sinolis has got a couple million followers over on Instagram. We'll do something together.
Absolutely. Well, and two, I want to tell everybody, I'm going to be doing I'm doing a huge event. It's a private event in Arizona, but I will be doing the Breathe convention. I will be. So if anybody wants to be in Las Vegas,
when is that?
That is September. It's going to be, So let me see, September the 13th through the 15th.
Okay, so Wednesday through Friday. Okay, copy.
Yes. Right. So if anybody wants to come and see me, talk business or whatever, I will be there with my team. And Randy, if you decide you want to come in, you'll have a great time.
There's
going to be a lot of big people there. Netflix is supposed to be there. There's other people that are going to be there. I'm trying to figure. I don't have all the names in front of me, but let's see. Priceline's going to be there. And have you seen my Star Dogs? If you haven't seen my Star Dogs, y'all are going to shit a pickle. It's pretty cool.
Send me the link and I'll post it on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, yeah. If you go to stardogs.com, and not DOG, it's DAWGS, you will see everything. But I will tell this, if people who don't know about crypto or Web3 are like, what are y'all talking about? Come to my Stardog Saturdays on Twitter, 3 p.m. PST. We have them every Saturday. People have a blast. There you go. That's Max right there with glasses. That's my dog. Max the Pooh. He's starting to get gray hair. He's getting a little old, and I'm sad.
Oh, he's got a little old man face.
I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like,
okay.
If something happens to him, I was like, no, don't get old. Every year he gets the gray hair. I'm like, no, don't, you can't. But I will say this, you will have a blast if you decide to come to the Breathe convention.
We'll do that.
Yeah, if you decide you want to come up, it's in Las Vegas. Here we go. We've got a Star Dog. You can see it. I don't know. Can we see it? Can you see?
Yes, we can. I feel like Obama in 08. Yes, we can.
Hold on. Can we put a thing in front?
Yeah. All right. So there's a dog in a suit.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's what our NFTs look like. They're like, these are no joke.
They look good. Look really good.
That's our director right there. So can you guess what dog he is?
There's a pit bull and a green. Oh, you got a message from someone. But yeah, pit bull and a green, and then a top hat, green suit, right? Pit bull?
That's a Chihuahua right there.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
He's got a giant block of a square head. There's no way that's a Chihuahua.
Yeah, he's a Chihuahua. If you see him, you'll know it.
Wait. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see that now.
I mean, he's got clothes on. How many Chihuahuas have you seen all decked out, in human form? But we got Chihuahua. We got a Pomeranian. Okay, here. Yeah, that's better. Can you put that in front? When you see his face. Okay. Can you put it in the front? Here we go.
Oh yeah. All right. I see that now. Yeah.
Look at those eyes, baby.
With the glasses.
Isn't he cute?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so I mean, we're partnering up with big companies for merchandising. I mean, I want to own every one of these. And I'm not just saying, listen, there is stuff when I was younger, I was like, that is stupid. What was I thinking? I mean, I am very I hold myself to such a high standard. It's ridiculous. When I see stuff, when I see films and I go to films, I'm like, I just watched a film, great film. I watched it. The ending sucked ass. I was so pissed off. I'm like, my God, how long was I watching this? And then it's like, you feel like it's like being on a date with, you think, I'm going to marry this girl. This is my dream girl. She is amazing. And then afterwards you find out I don't know, she's an alien. She pulls her mask off and she's got 3 freaking heads and 1 eye. You're like, what the heck? Or maybe she, I don't know, maybe she, my mother hates the word farts. Maybe she poots, booty bombs. We're trying to come up with different names because my mother hates farts. She goes, don't say fart, Darcy. Don't say that. That's just so you're supposed to be a princess and you should. So we came up with a bunch of different names. Booty bomb. I don't know. Air Biscuit, Whisker Biscuit, whatever, Air Biscuit. Oh, I mean Air Biscuit.
I love how we all have to plead fealty to like the mom. We all have to bend the knee to.
Oh my God, are you kidding? It's terrible. And I got to tell you, Brady, you got to come. We got to. Oh my God, we should have my mom on the show. You would, your viewership would go through. She is a trip, and I mean, I had her on my Twitter Space on a Saturday. People went nuts over her. She ended up. Twitter went through the roof. Like it went through the roof. She has her own. Like her handle is red leather. Is it? Hold on. Is it red leather whiskey or it's red leather mom? Red leather mom. That's what it is.
Red leather mom. Okay.
Red leather the mom. But okay, everybody in here now, all my team are laughing because I said Whisker Biscuit. All right, grow up. All right, I mean Air Biscuit. You know, so I meant you know Air Biscuit. We're trying to come up with names. If you sit there and Google Air, like one day we did that. Like just so you know, it's a. We definitely need cameras, a reality show just with our team meetings, just for the fact that we're like trying to come up with different names for, farting and, booty. There's a whole list. It's hilarious. I read it one time on the Twitter Space and people they were like, oh my God, it's hilarious. So it was Air Biscuit, but my mother was just getting so offended by the word fart. So I was like, we got to come up with something else. Booty bomb. I say booty bomb.
I just followed her. So okay,
oh,
so
you did? Oh God, she is a trip. But my mom's old school, so it's like for everything for her, she brings whiskey with her everywhere, and she believes little whiskey.
Same.
But I'm like, oh my God, Mom, I got a headache or my nerves, and I got this red carpet I got to go to, and there's gonna be all these media. She's like, just have a shot of whiskey. I'm like, Mom, I'm sick, but I'll just have a shot of whiskey. Mom, my foot hurts. I'll just have a shot of whiskey. And I was like, Mother, so we were talking about this on one of the spaces, and I had my mom, and everybody jumped to her defense. They're like, Darcy, that's what they used in the olden days. And then my mom was like, see, I told you, Darcy, that in the olden days, that's all they had. They put whiskey for everything. And I'm like, yeah. I mean,
I remember hearing stories.
Not in the olden days.
When I was younger, and apparently I was teething, my grandpa used to give me whiskey to let.
Yes. Yeah. She told me that. Yeah. She goes, when you were a baby, I'm like, that's what's wrong with me. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. She told me, she said she would give me some whiskey and put it for teething. Yeah. And so she said it worked. She says it just shut you up. And I was like, okay. But, she has all these, I'm like, oh my God, people, she came, we had a red carpet event for Star Dogs. So we had, A-list, we had a bunch of, celebrities and celebrity athletes. And then we had people, Web3, in the community, and we had everybody come together, and she was a trip, she had a blast. She, my makeup artist came over, did her makeup, and I got her this beautiful gown. And so she just was like, Darcy, I felt like such a princess. Thank you so much. I mean, but here's the deal. I want to tell everybody out here, okay? I don't care how famous you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care if you're Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, the president. I don't care if you're Margot Robbie or whoever, the Beyonce, whatever. A parent does not care, okay? They still see you as a toddler, that they basically baby wiped your butt, and talcum powder, and that's how they see you. Because I'm on the red carpet, folks. I kid you not. The media was there, A-list celebrities, there's everybody. My mother comes up to me, right? Cameras are rolling, by the way. She goes, Darcy, come here. And I go, what, Mom? What do you need? Is everything okay? She's like, here, open your mouth. And I'm like, what? And she goes, and then she sticks like a one of those Listerine strips. She puts it. She goes, you cannot have bad breath on this, Darcy. Your breath sometimes I can't take it. And I'm like, Mother, are you kidding me? I constantly have good breath. I'm like, are you kidding? And she's like, well, you can't do that with all these people on the red carpet right in front of everybody. So I'm just like, Mom. So, she just doesn't care. She just is just funny. So it's one of those things that, you just have to love your family. You have to just laugh about things. And listen, these are funny conversations that, you can talk about now. I have no, I'm straightforward. I have no filter. Apparently that's what my staff thinks. So, my mother's worse.
Oh, I really can't wait to have her on. We'll
do that. Well,
Yeah, we'll do that at some point.
I really appreciate you. And if there's any, did you have anything else or anybody else out there, your fans or anything? Did they have anything to ask me before?
I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of things that's probably a little inappropriate, but there's so for Comic-Con, we'll have the Miss El Salvador, who I just had on the podcast. She'll be coming to New York Comic-Con. She's into Web3 as well. She wore a Bitcoin dress to the Miss Universe. It was amazing. So you should really come to that. There's a couple of names that I really can't say on camera. Off camera, I'll talk to you off camera for a minute on who is coming and why you really need to go. And again, I'll 100% go and get some of those star dogs. I'll go and promote that. But I really need to talk to you about some stuff with Vivi and a lot of the committees.
Absolutely. Well, I'm always here, and there is some really huge news that we have coming down the pipeline. Right now I can't discuss it. I'm on an NDA, but I will be having meetings next week. So it's really crazy, what's about to transpire. So I will definitely, Randy, I will be getting in touch with you once everything kind of, we get everything. I always like to have everything set up, but once we do that, I will definitely also be talking to you.
Of course.
Everybody watching,
we have a lot
make
to
sure
go
you follow us both. Make sure.
Yes, of course. We'll do the, all right. So I'll talk to you 1 minute off camera. We'll end the broadcast now. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi.